Hello everyone. In this video I'll show you how to create a data entry from a single table. So in this project you can see that I have a table over here, country population. So if you'll open it, you will be able to see that it has actually fields, and you can see that age, address, occupation, name, ID and gender. So I am assuming that here gender is a enum and our ID is a primary key. So how you will create the primary key for this table? So for that you have to create a index. So in index, if you right click and create index, so you will get this kind of thing. And if you right click and if you open the properties, so in the right side you can see that to create primary key you have to set the allow duplicate properties to no, and you have to give the name, and index type is index. And in table level you have to also set give the ID here. So I am just saying that primary index should have the field ID. So you can just copy and paste from above field to here. So this field will be a primary key, and the value of this field will not be duplicate, and you have to specify that index in your table. So how you will do that? You have to select your table, and like this you right click and you just or alt enter and then select the properties of the table, and you have to give the few important properties. For example, level, ID, here title field 1, title field 2, and for index, primary index, you have to specify the primary index name. So whatever you have created index, so you have to specify that index here. Also specify the table group, what kind of table. If it will be a transaction related table, then you will have to specify transaction. If it is a group related table, then you have to specify group, and if it is a main table, then you have to specify the main. And this is all about the table. So to create a entity you must have a table. And how you will create the entity now? So here you can see that there is a data entity folder over here. So to create an entity, you just right click on it, add a new item, and here you will be able to see under the D365 items there is a data model and there is a data entity. So you can just specify your name of the data entity here and then click add. So when you will click add, so I'm not giving any specific name, but you have to give the name based on the business logic, and whatever naming convention is there in your project you have to follow that one. And after that you have to specify the here the table name. So our table is country population, so you can select country population here from here. So after that you have to click on the next, and you will be able to see some fields over there. So you have to select those fields, whatever the field you need in your data entity, you have to select those, and after that click OK or next. So after that this step you will be able to see this thing. So it will automatically create these objects. So you will get your entity, whatever you will give the name of the entity, it will be this one. After that it will create some entity maintain, and also it will create a view and a staging table. Why staging table is there? So whenever we will import and export, the staging table will help us to validate the data from the third party application to our system, or from the Excel file to it will go to the staging table, and from staging table to our system. So there can have a multiple types of file type by which you can import and export data. For example, CSV is there, Excel is there, so you can take it. So after that what we have to do, we have to just build it. Then this data, this entity will be available in our system. So if we'll go to the data entity in your front end, so you have to go to the system administrative module. So if we'll go to the left side of your menu items, there will get system administrator. So here is a system administrator. So if we'll click it, in the workspace section there will be data management framework will be there. So you just click on that, so you will reach this page, data entity page, data management workspace will be there. So from here you have to specify few things, that is framework parameter. So if we click the framework parameter, here you will be able to see that there is a shared working directory. So you have to specify, if you are working in your dev machine, then you have to specify this temporary folder. So if you will go in your C, so you will be able to see that there is a temporary folder is there. So this is a working directory for the import export framework. And then there is a setting for the data entity refresh. So by default, if you build and compile your project, if the data entity is not showing in your front end, then you have to refresh the entity list. So whatever entity is present in your system, if you will click this button, it will take some time. Maybe if your entity list is large, then it will take some time. It will take around 30 minutes to 45 minutes it can take. So in worst case, but in normal case, your entity will be available in the system. So from where you can check that. So if you will go to the data management section again, there is a place data entity right here. So you can click here, and here you will be able to see all the entities present in your system. So using the entity you can search, using the staging table you can search. So how I will do that? Our entity name is country population, and you can see that when I search the entity population, and the staging table is a country population stage, so it is showing here, right? So you can use this entity now to import and export the data. So how you can do that? So for that, again you have to go to the data management, and when you are importing, then you have to use this one, import, and for export you have to create this one. So when you are importing, so you have to click import, and after that you have to give the group name. I am just giving country, csv import and you have to specify here the name of the entity. So from here you have to select the file from here, so just upload and add, click, and here you can see there is a file csv to import. So I just already created this file. So if you will open it, so you will be able to see that whatever the column is there, all actually mentioned in this section: name, age, id, gender, address and occupation. And remember that our id is a primary key, so the value of this field should not be same, otherwise you will get the error. So this is our Excel file and we want to import it. Okay, we want to import it, so you have to select this one. So before that I want to show that in our actual table, so whatever the table is actually present, what data is actually present in our system. So if we'll open it and if we'll right click on the table, and if you will open it in a browser, it will open and you will be able to see the whatever data present in our table here. So I already added some data through the import export while testing this entity. So I'll just remove or delete all the data, and again I will import and I'll show you how this actually working. Okay, so now we can go to the import section and from there we can select our file. So from here I'll select the file csv over this one. So you can see it is actually loading and it is showing browser session lost. So again we have to refresh this page again because the session actually lost. So again I'll go to this import and after that I have to give the group name grp import. So whenever you are giving the name, it should be meaningful, it should not be like this. So you have to use proper business logic or naming convention while giving any group name. So after that you have to add that file. So here you can click add file and from there you can select the file type. So it should be csv file and you have to specify the name of your entity. So target entity is country population, COUNTRY, and it will begin with, so it will obviously it will search and it will show the country population entity. So I have just selected the entity name. After that I have to select the file which I want to import. So here is our file, so I have to select that one and you will get this kind of information. After that when you will load the data, information loaded, country population has been completed successfully, loading the information. So after that you can close it and here in the below section you can see the view of the mapping. So if you will double click, you will see that there is a mapping for the source and staging. So first it will, source file means our Excel file. Excel file has address, age, id, name, occupation columns, and in our staging also these fields are available. So it's mapping from our source file to our staging table. So after that what you have to do, so there is a two option, either you can choose the import now or import in batch. So if you will select it in import in batch, it will take some time to import, and in background one batch will run and it will import if the data is a huge number of data. For example, 50,000 columns 50,000 rows are there, so it will take some time. But in our case the number of rows and columns is less, that is why we are just clicking this import now to show the result also here. So if we will click, it will give this kind of information, please wait, we are processing a request, and it will take a few seconds, and after that you will be able to see that this kind of information that it is succeeded. You can see the status, and here also you will be able to see the with errors. If in your record if there will be any error, that number of error will be shown here, and here also you can see the start time, end time, and this is the batch ID. So now the important thing is here, you can see entity processing status. You can see that entity name also is there, status is succeeded, pending record is 0 in staging 3 and created 3. So whatever the data was there in our CSV file, which I shown in through Excel, Microsoft Excel, that is actually added in our system, and there is no pending. All 3 data was there in the staging, and all 3 actually created, and total is actually 3. Now I'll go to our table again and I'll show you the data. So if you'll right click again, and if you want to see the data, then you have to open it in browser again, and you will be able to see that whatever the data was there in our Excel, now it is actually showing in our system. So here is our data, and here is the Excel. So we successfully created the entity, also imported data in our system. Now I will show you how to export the data. Now to export the data from the system, there is so you have to go to this window, import export window or data management framework. So this time you have to click on that export button. So if you will click on the export, you have to give the GRP name, group name, group export. And after that you have to add the entity. So how I will do that? So you have to specify, or you have to give the name of the entity first. So you can search it. So with beginning I am just keeping country, and it will find out the entity name. So you have to select the entity name, and then in which format you want to export the data, you have to specify that. So you can see there is a CSV file, there is a Excel file, comma separated file, and all other file format is there. So this time I am just selecting Excel one. So we imported the data through CSV file, and I am just exporting the data via the Excel file. So after that our default refresh type is full push only, and the selected field is all fields, and after that you have to click the add button. So when you will click the add button, it will give you some information in the top that country population entry has been successfully mapped with the system. And after that you have to close that one, and you can see by clicking here below the map, you can see that map is actually properly synced with your system or not. So after that you have two options, either you can export in the real time or in the synchronous way, or in asynchronous way, that is actually batch. So in if the data is huge, you can use the export in batch. As we have the few numbers of data in our table, so we want to export it in now, so I have to click export now. So when you will click, it will take some time and it will show some message, please wait, we are processing. And after that it will give you the success message that execution status is succeeded, and it will give this kind of tick mark, and if it will fail, it will give a cross mark at the time of import, also at the time of export. And after that, if from here in the entity processing status, you can see there is a staging data, also you can see the error summary if there will be any error, and after at last you can see the status and the number of rows exported from the system, you can see there. And here you can see that is a download button, so you have to download the file. So here you can see in the top section that file actually downloaded. So if you click and open it, you will be able to see the whatever data present in our system, it will be shown here. So you can see ID, address, age, gender, name, occupation, these things. But one major changes is there, all the field name here you can see actually in the capital letter. So the system will automatically capitalize it and it will export. But in case of when we imported the data from our system, so that time we actually used this file, which is actually csv_2 import, and all the column was there, all was in the small letter, or in the first A, B, C, sorry, name was like this, age was like this, and like this. But at the time of export you will get the field name with the capital letter. So this way you can actually import and export data from the Dynamics 365 platform. So what we have done in this video, we have just created a table and we have created a data entity for that, and using that we just imported data in our system, also exported data to the outside of this system via the Excel file. So at the time of import we use this file, which is actually Microsoft Excel separated file. So if you will open it in a notepad, you will be able to see this is nothing but a comma separated list. So I hope the process is clear for you, how to create data entity and how to use in our system. So thanks for watching this video, see you in the next one. Till then, take care, bye bye.